proof Callum is 100% human, and why my cat's becoming more emotionally distant lately today on Dragon Prince Theory. One theory about the Dragon Prince that has been enduring for a very long time is that of Callum having a magical heritage of some kind. The most popular one is that he could possibly be descended from sky-winged elves, but there are others like him being descended from a shape-shifting dragon, or from a specific character like 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐼. It's not surprising to me that this theory exists and is as popular as it is. Characters having great power given to them through their bloodline or heritage is a very popular trope in storytelling. And more specifically, a protagonist's parent being a part of the opposing side is also a very popular trope. Theory Pop points this out in his video, and I think it's a very astute observation. It's not too surprising why this theory is so popular when there's so many other stories, especially stories for children, that use this trope. Better YouTubers than I have already made videos talking about it. Channels like Cartoon Universe and, as I mentioned before, Theory Pop. So a lot of what I'm going to say is going to be kind of paraphrasing a lot of what they also said, but I genuinely think that I have something that I can add to this conversation. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that has thought of this, but I haven't seen anyone make a video about it yet, so I figured I'd step in. I have something that came to my attention while I was researching for the Callum being descended from 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐼 theory video that I made. While I was looking for counterpoints to it, I accidentally came across something that kind of not only proved that he was descended from 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐼, but that he wasn't descended from magical creatures at all. A revelation so mind-bending and obvious that I'm surprised that it doesn't show up in every conversation about Callum possibly having a magical heritage. So let's talk about why I believe Callum is 100% homegrown human. Let's begin by talking about some of the evidence from the show that supports the theory of Callum having some kind of magical heritage. I say magical heritage instead of being half elf because I've discovered that people don't just believe that he could possibly be descended from elves, but that he could also possibly be descended from a dragon or some kind of other magical shape-shifting creature. The obvious bit of evidence for this is that he is the only human in history, according to the elves, to be able to perform primal magic. An easy explanation for how this is possible is that he secretly has a magical bloodline. I think that this is probably the most important and most referenced piece of information that people like to point to when they're talking about this theory. How is it that he's able to connect to the Sky Arcanum if no other humans in history have been able to do it before? The answer is that he's actually half elf, since we don't know all the details about his heritage. This is the most important piece of information people like to point to, and I personally don't think it's a great explanation. Let me explain. It's mainly for two reasons. The first reason is story reasons. I feel like Callum went on a real personal journey to discover how to use the Sky Arcanum. Through his empathy and understanding and hard work, he was able to connect to it. Despite being told time and time again that it was impossible and that he couldn't do it, he still persevered and was able to do it. If he was secretly an elf the entire time, then it would kind of ruin all that character development. If Callum was able to use magic because he was born with the Arcanum inside of him, that means that he could have done magic all along. He didn't need to go on the journey. He didn't need to talk to Lucien and Rayla and try to understand. He could have just spent enough time and then been casting whoosh and zap and never had to grow or learn anything. The second reason I don't like this is because I think the theory is kind of actually flimsy based on the in-universe explanation of what an Arcanum is and how it works. All the elves, whenever they're asked to describe their Arcanum, it's something that's so intangible, something that's so a part of their being that they struggle to put it into words. So if Callum was part elf, he would have been born with his Arcanum inside of him all along. And by being born with it, he should have been able to understand it much quicker than he did in the show. Another piece of evidence that people like to point to is the ambiguity of Callum's father. People think that this ambiguity might be leading towards some kind of important revelation down the road. That this will come in the form of him secretly being revealed to be a character of great importance, possibly an elf, or maybe even some kind of shape-shifting dragon. This has actually been concretely answered by Aaron 𝐒𝐿, the show's co-creator. In the 2020 October Reddit Q&A, someone asked, "Hi, I absolutely love this show. Would you be able to tell us anything about Callum's father? Is he part elf or fully human?" To which Aaron plays kind of coy and he says, "I could answer this, but is it more fun to wonder?" Aaron. And then right underneath that he says, "P.S. fully human," so... So we know for a fact that his father is actually human. It's been confirmed by the show's co-creator. Also, he and the other show's co-creator, Justin Richmond, were also really coy and made jokes about it when asked during an interview with Cartoon Universe. Here's a clip from that interview.
You guys, what's a weird one that you guys like?
A weird one?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I love any like Callum is an elf ones are pretty fun.
Yeah, those are great.
I like that one. Would you be able to tell? Would he have like a half a finger somewhere? Would there be some sign of that, or is it? Yeah.
They're actually wood pinkies. Yeah, these like
little tiny bumps on his head, or one.
So I said all this, but I know what you're thinking. Well, even though his father was technically not an elf, perhaps he has some kind of elven lineage, and that's coming down through his bloodline. And hey, that's true, you know, that's a good point. That could possibly be the case. And debunking that would be extremely difficult because you would have to basically be able to show Callum's entire family tree in order to definitively say that nobody in his family had a magical bloodline connection. So I guess debunking this theory is actually going to be impossible. Man, I wish I had some kind of like magic detecting scanner thing or something like that. Something I could like scan over magical creatures and it could tell us if they had magical stuff inside them. I mean, that would be just great. But what if I told you that there was such a device in the show? A device that not only scans for magic, but it can actually tell you specifically which one of the 6 primal sources a magical being is connected to. That's right, I'm talking about the Key of Erebos. The Key of Erebos, ironically, is the key to this entire theory. But how, you ask? How does the Key of Erebos so definitively close the book on this, I hear you ask? Hey, it's okay, I know. You've been really connected to this theory, and that's okay. But it's not gonna happen. Well, it's been shown multiple times on the show that the Key of Erebos will glow whenever it's near a magical being. Specifically, it will glow with whichever primal source the creature is connected to. We see it glow with the moon symbol for Rayla and the ocean symbol when it's near the sea creature. If Callum really had a magical heritage, then that would mean he too would be connected to the Sky Arcanum, and yet it never glows for him no matter how many times he uses it. No matter how much time he spends holding the cube in his hand, it shows nothing. While he understands the Sky Arcanum, he does not have it within himself. It was not something he's born with. He does not have a magical heritage. Callum is 100% human. But hey, I mean, we'll never really know until the series finally wraps up, but I think it's pretty safe to say, based on everything that's happened in the show so far, that Callum is totally human, and does not have an elven or draconic ancestry. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Like I always say, it's all speculation. I could be totally wrong. They could introduce some kind of new piece of information that completely invalidates everything in this video. So what do you guys think? And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this theory video, maybe check out these other theory videos. See that one on the left? That's what's gonna happen with Runan's arm. Is he gonna lose it in the next season? I don't know. And the one to the right, that's the truth about Erebos possibly being Callum's father? So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm off to rewatch The Dragon Prince, and I'll see ya.